Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Man Cave Chronicles. Your host, James Dean Littlejohn. Thumbs this way, that's me. How the devil are you? Hopefully, you are okay. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully you're smashing into the year 2026. We're breaking into that now, aren't we? We're fully embedded in 2026 now. We're in March. This is March the 1st that I'm delivering my message to you on mental health. I'm not gonna lie though. I will start. This is a typical British thing to do, but the fucking weather. I've got to address it. Got to address it. We've had one sunny day where I was walking around in shorts and t-shirt last week, and since then it's been 50 odd days of rain. I can tell you something. If the fucking government turn around to me in like 4 or 5 months' time and say there's a hosepipe ban, I'm going to go fucking absolutely ballistic because I've had 2 months of this shit now. I think to the point where I've even got an ear infection because it's so damp everywhere, that it's so fucking raining that my ears can't dry out. It's mental. That's a little rant from me there. How the devil are you there? Hopefully you're okay. Smashing into 2026. It's been, like I say, it's been a bit of a difficult start. It really has. But I've had a couple of roller coasters, even just the last couple of weeks. I've just come off of a week away, so a week off, if you like. From work. I was basically, sort of taking that time to quarter of a year, you need to take a little bit of a break, cheeky week off, just did some DIY, went to a spa weekend, just little bits and bobs really, just sort of kind of trying to relax. You don't realize how stressful things can be. And then all of a sudden you get into this burnout phase. I think if you're acutely aware of your sort of mentality, how your body works, how your mind works. And this is very much what this journey's been about for me, is understanding how my mind works. You kind of get to the point where you're like, I know I need a break now because I was exhausted. It's really weird. Because physical exhaustion, we can all relate to physical exhaustion. If I said to you, "Are you exhausted?" You'd probably say, "Yeah, muscles are aching. I've done a fucking run or whatever. I've done some weights. I'm a bit tired, or I've done a manual labor job or whatever." You can really relate when it comes to like physical exhaustion. Is quite easily relatable, but mental exhaustion is just a new area for me. Not a new area for me, because mental exhaustion has been with me for quite a while in terms of like the depression and things like that. So I'm fairly au fait. I'm going to chuck that word in there. Fairly au fait with how it feels to be mentally exhausted, but that's because I've seen the signs. I know how my body works. I know when my body needs that time away, and I also know what I need. I need to basically shut down, which is it took me 3 or 4 days this time around to shut down fully. I was still thinking about work. I was still procrastinating about things on work. I was still emailing myself things to try and remember for work. I just took me a long time to sort of shut down, and that's kind of where I knew I was in burnout phase. And it's really weird feeling mental. Burnout is really weird because it can just literally creep up on you like that, like a click of a finger. So I was fine the week before, and then the week on the build up to when I knew I was taking time off, I was like, fuck, I was exhausted. It was almost like my body had already gone like, just stretch through these 5 days, mate, get through them, and then you can fucking relax. And I did. I fully relaxed, into the point where I procrastinated on delivering this message today, delivering my podcast, because I was sat there thinking, I don't know whether I want to do this. I didn't feel the mood to do this, but there's plenty of things I've put in my notes, and there's plenty of things that I've got to talk about, want to talk about, like to talk about. But it's just getting that sort of motivation. And I think that after a week off, a bit of burnout, I'm sort of now in the Sunday phase. This, like I say, Sunday, the 1st of March for me, back to work tomorrow. So I'm sort of kind of gearing my brain back in again. And it was I was a bit rebellious about an hour ago. I was sat in here going, fuck it, I ain't going to do it. I can't be arsed. I'm just going to go for a walk. Do I even want to go for a walk? And I just got lazy. I thought, this is my last day of my holiday. Do I want to fucking like do loads of stuff now? And I didn't. I sort of sat there and then all of a sudden I just went, no, fucking sort yourself out. Get that gear back in mode. Get that brain kicking in again. You've got plenty to talk about, plenty of stuff you want to say to people. And like I said, I've had some positives as well. So a couple of my TikTok videos have been really sort of bringing in, you can sort of see what trends with some of the stuff that I say. I've had a couple of negative comments, and some of those I'll try and address today, actually. Mainly one of them, actually, well, pretty much addressed straight away, because this is something that I've noticed. And I say it quite a lot. So I often say I fucking hate people, and that's quite a coarse, it's quite a coarse statement, isn't it? I hate people. Because you're sort of, you can put that into such a broad spectrum. What do you mean you hate people? And then you often get people like one of the comments said, "You hate people, yet you're delivering messages and putting TikTok videos out about mental health to thousands and thousands of people." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I do." And I think that gave me that little bit of extra sort of food for thought, really, because I kind of went to myself, what do you mean by, like, actually, James, define what you mean by you hate people. So I could sort of get my brain going. But what do you mean? Because it is a blanket statement. I hate people. I don't hate people. I actually fucking love people. I really do. I love talking. I do get emotionally exhausted. I do get mentally exhausted. I do get socially exhausted. I get, like all of these things, crop in, which I now know are down to the neurodivergent aspect of me. But I had a couple of comments. So I had that comment that was said to me on social media was, "You hate people, yet you deliver a message to thousands of people. What do you mean you hate people?" And I said in the same sentence, "I love dogs. We should all have dogs." So let me put it into context. I hate people. If in that certain context, there was a comparison between people and dogs. It's an easy comparison for me. Dogs will win every single time because they're just loyal. They're happy to see you. They love you. They're unconditional. So for me, that was the comparison. But then on a deeper level, I suppose if you looked at it from, if somebody came in to saw that video, then rightly so, someone like myself would challenge that, and rightly so. Yeah, someone did challenge me. They said to me, "You hate people, but you're delivering a message." And I go, "Well, no, I don't actually hate people." But I hadn't given context behind it. But I hadn't also thought about it to understand what the context could be. So I did. I dwelled on that. I went over it and wrote down some notes on my notepad because I don't hate people. I really do. Like I love people. I do. I like socializing. Um, I like getting out there. I like learning about people. I love helping them. I love supporting them. I'm emotionally invested in people. And I think what I mean by hate people is, just to put it into context, I don't hate people. Like I say, I love them, but I've been over the years, I've been hurt by a lot of people. And I'm not asking for violence because I'm sure I've hurt people. We all hurt people. We're humans. Sometimes it's unintentional, and sometimes it's intentional. And the problem is for me, I probably have hurt people, maybe unintentionally and intentionally. I don't know. I certainly don't think intentionally, albeit there would have been times through my depression stages, and when I was deep in depression, a few years ago, that I did use words to hurt people, and that was intentional because that was a defense mechanism for me, if you like, And I'm not putting a category on something to justify it. I completely and utterly own that I was a fucking dickhead. I completely and utterly own the fact that my intentions were to hurt that person through words. I get that, absolutely. And sometimes my actions may have inadvertently hurt people as well. So I'm not innocent by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, I have a vast amount of experience in being intentionally hurt. So, and sometimes I say things that are direct because that's the way I approach life. And again, my wife turned around to me and said, "It." We also, all the family look at you and say, because I don't go to a lot of events, really. I don't go to many family events. I don't really like speaking to a lot of people. I probably have shut myself away for a few years now as a bit of a defense mechanism against it, and not really wanting to open up to people anymore, which is horrible because, again, I like to emotionally invest in people. And she said, "Well, you used to be out all the time. You used to be a right social. Your 20s and 30s, you were fucking out all the time, partying, socializing in town, doing whatever, having real good times, meeting people. Didn't phase you walking into a room, you talk to anyone." And she said, and my wife sat me down and said, "You still have those abilities, but for some reason you've just shut you down. You've just banged your fucking barrier doors up and you've kind of shut yourself away." And I go, "Yeah, I have, and some of those people that I've shut myself away from have hurt me." I said, "I've been bullied a lot throughout my life, which I now know is again down to the neurodivergency and probably the way that I come across to people. I do come across as quite abrupt. I can be a bit awkward. I can be a bit different, but at the same time, I try to mask that. I'm a very good. One of my my autism assessment came back and said that I was very good at masking. The person could tell. They presented the right questions to reveal the mask, which is the whole purpose of the assessment. But they said as soon as you answered your questions, your mask came back on and you tried to sort of almost add an excuse to why you said such a direct response. And that gave me food for thought. So, it's not that I hate people. I don't. I love people. I really do. I think I've opened up quite a bit to a lot of people, and even in my autism assessment that I'd had, they'd asked me if I had any negative experiences, and I said, yeah, I've been bullied a lot, and I have. I've been spat on in school, science class. A gentleman called Simon Cruz, I think his name was, spat on my face in science class for no reason, no reason whatsoever. Just walked over to him and spat in my face. I've had bullying for my haircut, bullying for my name. You've got to remember, my name's Little John, so it was a bully. It was an easy bully tactic for most people. And I've left schools. I've been moved from schools because of bullying, and I've been bullied in the workplace. I don't think that, in fact, there hasn't been one job where I've not been bullied by at some point in terms of my boss. Has bullied me. Every single job I've been bullied, right down to every job I've left because of the way they've treated me. And that's and I've seen the pattern over the years. And basically, I know my worth, I know my wealth, and I think because I do give myself 100% to people, I do get invested, and I do enjoy the workplace. I do befriend quite a few people. I do befriend people really easily, and I think for me, that's the difficulty is when you befriend people and open up to them, and then they treat you negatively for no apparent reason. You put up defense. You naturally, I would put up defense mechanisms. I've said before. I said in a previous podcast. That it's not what you know, who you know, and that again, that is quite a direct line. Again, is the same as why I hate people. It's not what you know, who you know. It's almost like if you could perceive that as me saying that I only befriend the people that are going to get me somewhere in life, and that's very much not true. That's not what I meant. Is I that's me again. That podcast at the time was me, or my way of interpreting that when you know the right people, they can help you, and that also means for me, knowing the right person means somebody that's going to invest in me. I'll invest in them, support them, and help them. If they invest in me, then absolutely brilliant. I'm having that very much in my job at the moment. It's a bit of a lonely job. It's a bit of a lonely job. I'm not going to lie. And again, I like working amongst teams and stuff. You can be very siloed. It can be a very negative space. And I'm finding it very difficult to establish a rapport, if you like, or a good rapport in work's time and outside. Because I think I invest myself so intensely into people, which I think is probably one of my biggest negativities. If you're going to say, is there a negative about me? I would say I care too much. And that is, some people will see that as what you're on about, as a good trait. It's not, because if you care too much, you invest too much. And 9 times out of 10, I will say, if you care too much, you'll burn yourself out caring. You will, because nobody will care as much as you care, or nobody will care as much as you think you care. So I will always want to care that bit more. So you end up constantly constantly. I'm one of my traits is I gift drop people. So like I'll make things for people, or I'll, mainly make things for people, and that's my way of like gift dropping. So it's like a way of I actually know now it's like an autistic trait. So when you like people, you gift drop them to say thank you. And often I get weird looks. Why have you made this for me? Why I did have some stuff here that I'd made on my 3D printer this week to want to go back into work. But people will say to me, well, why do you gift drop those people? They're just random people. They're just going to take advantage of you. And I say, yeah, they probably will. But for me, I'm just showing you that you've helped me, or you're a good friend, and it's really good to know you. Here's a gift drop. So it's my way of really, I think that's how I differentiate between who I class as a friend and who I class as a colleague, for instance. So if I go into work and I befriended you and I give you a gift, that's normally my way of saying you're that extra special to me. That I will go a little bit more above and beyond. You're not just a standard colleague for me. If you need support, I will support you. If you're a complete arsehole to me, yeah, you're on the shit bucket list, sort of thing. But I'm finding it very difficult with those sort of side of things. And I think that sort of streams into a little bit of something that I've procrastinated on quite deeply this week. And that's about the autistic trait of being quite direct. And I struggle with that because in my line of work, it works really well. So, as a compliance manager, it's quite easy. It's very black and white. compliance is black and white. You're either non-compliant or compliant. So for me, for an autistic brain, that's really, really good, because it's easy to define the difference between black and white, isn't it? You know, you sort of go, that's compliant, that's non-compliant, bosh. So I can be very direct, and people can kind of go, oh, fucking hell, he's just saying as it is. And it's just how I am. But in life is a fine line between being abrupt and direct, and people not reading between the lines. I'm going to give a prime example, actually. Something that's close to me. It's happened recently. I've mentioned this a couple of times in my podcast, but I recently re-engaged with my my family in terms of, as I've made aware a long time ago, in one of my podcasts, I spoke about how I'd not spoke to my sister for 12 years, and that does affect me, because you know she's part of my family. Do I think we'd get on? I'm not really sure. I don't, 12 years is a long time in adulthood, progressing into sort of kind of both progressing into 40s this year. So, we're quite we're quite on in life, in that sort of sense. I'm trying to sort of analyze this and how I say this correctly, because it's a delicate subject. So I sort of opened it. There was a crux of it is in a WhatsApp group, and I wanted us to get together. We haven't spoken for 12 years. And this is where I feed into the direct piece of me. So I went into the WhatsApp group and just went, right, I appreciate that I'm the difficult one. I appreciate that I can be the intimidating one. So to get things moving, I'm going to, chat and open up the engagement to say, can we go out for a meal as a family, the five of us, mum, dad, brother, sister, and myself. I was like, just us, we'll go out, just us, and then hopefully if we can build up a rapport. Not that I know what the fuck we've fallen out for. That's how bad it is. I don't even know what it was for. And basically, here I'm here. I'm willing to open up, draw a line in the sand. Sent a fucking photo to go, hey, I'm here. Don't worry. Sorry about anything in the past, but let's bygones be bygones. Draw a line in the sand. Anyway, the complete opposite reaction happened, and this is probably down to me. And again, this hasn't helped with the procrastination part of things. I procrastinated then because I saw it basically there was a nuclear bomb. It probably it's not relevant to probably say that nowadays at the moment while we're dealing with almost World War III, but it was like a nuclear bomb in the family, in terms of the fucking the catalyst. I went in there I was quite direct. I'm going to say I was very direct in terms of I didn't want to beat around the bush. I just wanted everyone to have clear, defined lines and just say, yeah, let's meet up. Love to meet up. I don't know what your financial status is, but let's get, we go to fucking Spoons, do whatever you want to do. I don't know. Let's just go for a meal, just have a catch up and say hello. It's been 12 years, been a long time. Anyway, in the background, that caused a fucking massive rift, and there was a massive wake of basically, I'm not going to be bullied into. I was associated with bullying my sister into that tactic, and I felt a little bit sort of sad about that, because that was not my intention, and inadvertently what it did was. It caused a ripple wave in the background, which I didn't realise, and that was certainly not my intention. But what it did do was it made me procrastinate even more then, because I thought to myself, I'm direct, but was I that direct? And I had to physically break that message down, and I had to break it down to my brother, actually. We had a long conversation, and I was like, have I come across as abrupt? Because that to me just means, like, I'm not going to beat around the bush and go, oh, well, let's fucking fluff it up and say, I don't know. I don't even know what to say in that situation. I was just fucking, let's go out for a meal and let the voice do the work, let the eyes do the seeing, instead of sitting there behind fucking mobile phones and hiding. Let's get to the crux of this problem and let's have a chat. And the waves in the background basically suggest that there doesn't want to be a rebuild of a relationship. And I go, okay, then, well, it's fine. I don't know what you want from me. I've opened up the door to say, fucking, can I come in? I'm not a vampire. I ain't going to fucking eat you. And it didn't happen. So, but now the negative way for me now is that rejection sensitivity disorder that is associated with neurodivergence, and that is, now I feel completely and utterly like sad that I've potentially caused a rift through a conversation. Was I too direct? Was I too blunt? Was it appropriate? I don't know. There was lots of questions that came out from that. So, very delicate situation, but it sort of kind of feeds into everything really that I've probably overwhelmed myself with in this last week. Is, am I too direct? Am I too blunt? Do people have moaned at me and said, you hate people. Like I said, not moaned at me, but put comments, you hate people, but you do this. Well, no, I don't hate people, but I've been bullied. You know, not the first time, not the last time, you know. So I try to, well, actually, I try to make it the last time as much as I can. But I even experience bullying now, even in my new workplace. I've experienced bullying, and I've been there 2 years, and I've done absolutely nothing but fucking good and positivity. But and when you speak to fellow colleagues, they'll often say to you that's just because they're jealous, you know, and everything else. But they don't realise the repercussions, you know, like there was a comment that was made to me the other day, the other week, that I was trying to get from. I've been actively fucking voicing this because I think if you voice it, it happens. It's almost like that sort of confidence booster. And I say I want to try to get promoted, and everybody, and you know, I've made it aware that I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying to do what I can. Anyway, that by the by, I'm just sat in the background doing my job now. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. But in the background, one of these guys come up to me and said that, yeah, we've all noticed that you're sucking the right dick. And you kind of go, I really do take offence to that. And I'm not offended. I don't take offence to most things, really, to be fair, but hardly anything. I take offence to things when it's about me. But that did hurt me a little bit because I kind of thought to myself, well, number one, where's that from? Number two, I'm pretty sure that I'm not sucking dick. If it was sucking dick, man, I'd have done it a long time ago if it got me promoted, but it doesn't. You know, so it kind of those little comments though, they're basically bullying. That's a bullying tactic, isn't it? You know, but those are the types of comments I made, you know, that have been made towards me. I had one boss that said to me, that emailed me on Christmas Day, because I literally sent a flyer, like a poster out, welcoming everybody wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, getting the party started, festivities going, and sent a bomb burst out from the safety team that I was in at the time, and bomb bursted it out, and then I get a Christmas message saying on Christmas Day, and I don't know why, I kind of thought there was going to be some backlash from it, so I kept checking, and then yeah, there, lo and behold, Christmas Day, there was this fucking Christmas Day of all days, there was this fucking snotty message saying that I shouldn't have done it, I'm the boss, you know, this should have gone through me and all this. I was like, dude, it's just a fucking poster saying Merry Christmas from the safety team. Could have been done by anybody. Do you know what I mean? I put your name on the bottom, for fuck's sake. But again, that turned into a fucking big hoo-ha for nothing, you know. So it's little things like that I've experienced where, you know, I have a really good time with that person. He's my boss, I got on well with him. That came out the blue, and then that just completely utterly crippled the relationship then, because I went, but obviously the email body was quite intense. It was very much aimed towards, I need to remember who I am. He's the lead, you know, everything should be run through him. You know, all of this. And I was like, well, this isn't a work thing. This was just me being kind to the rest of the organization and saying Merry Christmas, and almost like another prompt to say, here's the safety team. It was nurturing. It was collaborative, you know, everything. There was no intent, no malice intent behind it, but it received a lot of malice intent. That's what it's. And then I'm sat there going, fucking hell. And I suppose that's where, you know, these are little snippets of information that build up in your brain. So, like, you know, I'm giving you right from the body of, you know, from school, being bullied, all the way through my senior schools. I was bullied horrendously, you know, very, very ostracized. And it was, you know, it's a very isolating situation to be in that. And, you know, through each job, there's always been something that I have been bullied for. You know, there's always something that somebody's mistreated me in some way for. And all of these things stack up. You know, they're all memories. I can probably give you a fucking handful straight off now that of situations that I've been bullied in, even to the point where the job before I was in now, I asked my boss at the time to sit down and run me through the interview process and do a little bit of interview training with me to give me a little bit of confidence. And he said, yeah, no worries, mate. He said, you're not going to get the job. There's no way in the world you'll get the job. You're not good enough. And I was like, oh, that comment made the day before my interview, because he knew my interview was the next day, was the comment I was left with. I'm not good enough. You know, my nan, years and years and years ago, my nan saw me at the bottom of her road one morning, and it was about 2 weeks before I was joining the RAF. And my brother had just joined the army. And, you know, she sat on the corner, and I said, oh, hi, Nan, how's you? And she went, yeah, good. I hear you're joining the RAF. I hadn't seen her for a while. I said, yes. I hear you're joining the RAF soon. I said, yeah, 2 weeks actually. Adie's just gone, my bro. And she went, yeah, Adie will do fine. He'll smash it. You won't make it though. You're not cut out for the forces. Oh, okay. And again, where do human beings think that is a confidence booster for somebody that's going literally to the RAF to start a new career? Is that the thing that you felt was the right comment to leave somebody? So when I say I hate people, and when I say I'm very protective, and when I say I'm very direct, it's because I don't want people to get blurred between the lines. I like to be quite, it's black and white. You know what I meant by that. There's no fluffing up. I'm not going to sit here and say sorry or anything like that. And also all these bullying things that have happened over the years, and as I know now in my 40s, due to me being neurodivergent, and the way I see life and the way that I act through life and the way that I treat life is very different to neurotypicals, if you like. But again, I hate putting labels on things, but it's the easiest way to put the interpretation between the two. And they've all stacked up, and they've stacked up over years. I've had so many of those instances. I had a friend who literally, I went to his wedding, and he turned around to me after his wedding and said that I didn't give him any money on his wedding card. And I was like, mate, I turned up, I supported. I was one of your bridesmen. I was one of your groomsmen. Sorry, yeah, groomsmen. I was one of your groomsmen because your two didn't turn up, so I stepped in with my mate and we helped you out. I said, I turned up. What you drink? I didn't have that, and I said, be honest, mate, I've got a family. And he turned around and he said, well, yeah, but I said, oh, don't worry. But I said, oh, when I get paid, I saw him about a week after his wedding. I said, but don't worry, when I get paid, I was going to give you some money. I'm going to drop 20 quid across to you, or whatever it was, And he went, well, when you do that, can you make sure that your brother gives some money then? Because he hasn't given me, and nor's Kieran. And I went, well, I'm not going to ask them to give you money, mate. It's nothing to do with me. They're completely independent to me. They're not my family. Well, they are my family, but they're not with me. We're not together. If you've got a problem with them not providing you money, then speak to them. I said, and then he proceeded to show me a £50 note and goes, this is what I received from my friend, insinuating basically that I should give him 50, my brother should give him 50, and Kieran should give him 50. That's what the insinuation was. And I kind of went, I took offence to that. I was like, fucking hell, mate, I've come up here to say hello. And that's where you treat me. So when I say I hate people, I've got a stack load of memories in the back of the tank here, just sat there, where people have fucking hurt me or people have done something against me. So in the context of the podcast, it meant, a comparison between, dogs and humans, and dogs will win every time. As I've said to you before, I've got a GoFundMe going. Go check it out. It's my dream job. Go check it out on GoFundMe. Absolutely, that is my dream job, and I'm selling my artwork that I'm doing to create, to create the funds. So put the funds into there. So I don't get them as money; it's donations. So I ask people for donations into my GoFundMe. And that's what the traction is. So hopefully my dream might come. It might be 10 years' time, might be 20 years' time. I don't know. But at least if I've got a chance to get my dream, if it's got a chance to do it and I have to work hard to do it, I'm going to do it. So let me just have a little sit there. I got fucking fully embedded. Amy Winehouse's kicking off in the background as well. So yeah, so it sort of kind of gave me food for thought, because I kind of went to myself, am I too abrupt? Am I too direct? A lot of people that know me closely know that is me. That's who I am. But I can see how also my words can be perceived that way. I'm, because I do really like people. I do invest emotionally in people. And I think when I don't receive it back, or I get hurt from giving that emotional response and giving a part of my insight, when I don't receive that back, or I receive it back negatively in some form, I do put my defense mechanisms up, and I do get a bit obnoxious about it. And I suppose for me, that's trying to, as you can tell, I've procrastinated on this quite a bit this week, because I wanted to understand what I meant by it. And like I say, it's a stack load of evidence that has just gone in memories. In the back of my head, I had one person. I can when I say I can reel these off. I had one person smack. I was over a friend's house, and I went out with him, and we had a couple of beers in the evening. Came back for the evening, and his wife and her friend were at home, and I came through the door, and it was just like sort of banter was going on and things, all this sort of stuff. And then basically what had happened was this: my friend's wife had put my friend's. So this is going to sound weird. My friend's wife's friend that was there threw some yogurt at my friend's face, like literally just like that. So what I did was I was like, oh fucking hell, you got my friend, wee! So I grabbed a little bit of the yogurt out of the fucking tub and threw it in her face. And I knew the person, so don't worry. It was all banter. It was literally like, wee, fucking you doing? Anyway, my friend's wife decided to punch me with a fucking fist in the back of the head. So, do you see how like these little incidents, they keep stacking up, and they stack up like shitloads. There's another one. I'm going to give you another one, actually, just so you can understand where I come from in terms of my life, in terms of how many negative experiences I've had with people. I had my, and I'm going to say this, I had my brother-in-law years and years and years ago, was having a bit of a rocky time, I believe, with his fiance, which, you know, I'm not going to comment on in the sense that I don't know about the details of that, but I knew that there was a rocky situation. Anyway, I'd gone down from the christening, and basically during the christening was at the same time as my school reunion. So we are talking a long time ago. Yeah, we are talking a long time ago. Fucking hell. Was my 10-year school reunion. So I'd lost a lot of weight because I wanted to turn up and feel a little bit sort of healthy and, you know, like I was successful. You know, you always have that bit of bravado. You're turning up to see people that you left school. I was bullied quite a bit, so I wanted to sort of show people that I'd made something of myself. I was in the military, you know, so I was you know, spraying aircraft. So it was, as you can see, the fucking helicopters behind me that I've sprayed. Um, I was doing all these sorts of things, so I'd had quite a good job, so I was able to turn up confidently and go, yeah, I'm all right, I'm doing okay, you know, I'm doing all right. And it is a bit of a bravado thing when you turn up to a school reunion, because you kind of see all the girls that you probably fancied, and you want to make sure that, you know, I'm married and I've got kids, but you know, this is what I've got, and this is my job, this is my life, and we did. It does turn into, I think the preconceived perception of a school reunion is very much, it's very much like an ego boost. It's like an ego fucking cock off, isn't it? It's like a cock off, basically, if you're going to go there as a man. But I turned up and it wasn't like that at all. Actually, my expectations were completely and utterly smashed, and actually turned into a very good time. I actually had a really, really good time. Met some really good friends that were basically like, where the fuck have you been, mate? I've missed you. And that was really nice, because I sort of kind of rekindled some friendships that I'd not seen from school. They dwindled away quite quickly, like they do, because they're not in the same area and life happens. And often I don't commit as much, or they don't commit as much as I do, and we get that whole scenario where you go, and if you're not giving 110%, I'm giving 110%, then fuck off, you know, sort of thing. And that's where that starts to creep in. So they fade away, but you know, it was nice at the time. Anyway, before I procrastinate on that and digress, so I'd lost a lot of weight. Anyway, I decided that it was about 3 or 4 months before the christening, I made this pact with my friend that I would run round every roundabout in my county, in my city, naked. I don't know why. I got this fucking thing when I drink. I'm like, get your fucking clothes off, and I'd run round 4 of them. And there was one coming at the top of this road where we were going up to. So we'd left the christening, we'd gone up to his house, and we were going to have an after party, so to speak. All the family just go up to the house, have a few drinks, have a little bit of a chin wag, you know, put the world to rights. Anyway, whilst I was walking up, I'd run round the fucking roundabout naked. My other brother-in-law had joined me, come round, and then the brother-in-law in question I'd come up and seen it and was like, what the fuck's going on here? As we were both putting clothes on. He took a bit of offence to it and was like, what are you fucking doing? Anyway, I just sort of sat there. As I was putting my clothes off, he stormed off. Anyway, his fiance came up, literally behind him, went, oh, I've just got to pop down to the garage and get some cigarettes. Do you mind walking me down? I was like, yeah. So I shouted to my wife, just be a minute, I'm going to walk her down to the can't even think what it's called. Petrol station. That's the one I'm looking for, because it was late at night. So we were walking down the plate at night. We were walking down there, and anyway, came back up. We walk up the fucking hill, jolly as fucking Rogers. She said, "Oh, can you give me a piggyback?" Yeah, jump on, wee. So we're running up the top, catching up with them, because we were only like 5 minutes behind. And anyway, as I come around the corner, he fucking comes up to me and says he's gonna fucking shank me, and he's gonna fucking cut me, and he accused me of sleeping with his fucking fiance. I was like, "You're my brother-in-law, mate. Like, literally, that's the worst of the worst. Me sleeping with your fiance. Do you really think I'm going to stoop that low? Don't ask that question. But that is like, that made me feel shit, because I was like, I haven't done any of this. I've done nothing wrong. And again, I'd taken a massive brunt. So he'd taken out on me his problems around his fiance, and naturally thought that because he's having issues internally, that she's gone and done this and I've gone and done this with her. And absolutely didn't happen. But it ruined the fucking night, ruined the memory, never got an apology, which is the biggest thing. So when you stack these things up, the way that, and I suppose if I'm gonna wrap this up into probably somewhere relatable for you, that a lot of the times we build barriers because of the way we're treated. That is the mental health part of it. So I've met people, like I would say now, my current boss, I've got a fucking lot of time for him, and I absolutely fucking love him to bits. I think he's a fucking great boss. But he has the thickest armor defense mechanisms that I've ever met in a person. Like, genuinely. Like, he's a neurodivergent as well, so it's why we kind of get on. But I also don't think he gets on well with me. I think, or I don't know. It's a weird one, because I can't. He's the first person, actually, in years and years and years, that I've not been able to work out, and I've actually gone, I don't know how to work you out. And I don't know for what reason. He's not showing his full. He's not releasing his mask for me. Put it that way. So I find it very difficult. But when you stack those up, you stack all those negative experiences. When you speak to someone young, like a young person, they don't have those barriers. They're naturally open. If you speak to a toddler, they're like, well, they think you're amazing. There's no racism. There's no sexism. There's no fucking homophobia. There's no nothing. They're just this natural fucking happy ball of fun, aren't they? Toddlers, and they grow into teenagers. We start getting teenagers. We start getting a little bit resentful, don't we? Why? Because our first challenges come along, our parents. And then we become the person that gives them the fucking shit. So they put the defense barriers up against us because we're the negative people. Then you go into the workplace, and then you start, you then got friends, and then you'll start getting in and out of friends, where you might have a best friend that will treat you like shit and then go to someone else. And what does that do? That's a memory. That's a bad memory straight away. That's an extra chink in your armor just been created. So when you're in your 40s, like me, 45 this year, you can imagine my fucking armor is chinked up to fuck. It's the easiest way to describe it. I'm fucking covered in fucking armor because of the amount of times I've been hurt, and probably because I give to emotion. Like, it's not probably, I do. I give emotionally to people. I've been hurt so many times, like I say, even in this current job, I've been hurt and bullied at least 7 times. At least 7 times in this new job I'm in. And I have been the nicest fucking person you can imagine. I'm the most nicest person. I will help you as much as I can. But I've had people physically chuck me under the proverbial bus for nothing. For literally nothing. No gain. And you're like sat there going like, why are you trying to fuck me over? But you naturally put your defense mechanisms up. And what tends to happen with me is I tend to go, I can't put up with this environment. This is toxic as fuck. And you can see the good people go, nah, fuck it, I'm out. And you're left with the fucking toxic people constantly. So you can imagine when I say these things, and I'm quite direct because I have to be. My job dictates it. So that's it's natural for me then to go directly into conversation. But I will say that those chinks of armor they're there because of all the bad things that have happened. Everything that's happened over fucking time, you constantly happen. And like I said, I'm no angel. I know I'm not. I've hurt people. I'm not fucking, I'm very accountable for understanding that I've hurt people. I know I have. So I've probably put chinks of armor on other people. Greatly so. And I hope that they find the right person that can take that chink away. And that's what happens, I suppose, as you get older, you give less fucks. So what naturally tends to happen is the chinks naturally fall off. Because you naturally get to the point where I said naturally so many times there, you get to the point that you don't care, so you don't need the armor. And I think that comes with maturity and age. You start caring less, especially as a young person. You care like fuck. It's mental how much you care. But that's all. I call it. It all relates to mental health, because we all put armor up, and ultimately, you don't look at me and go, "You're covered in armor." You look at me and go, "It's just fucking James." But if you put 3 people in front of me and then ask me to talk to them about a subject in different ways, so let's do a better way of trying to hypothesize this. I would say if you put 3 people, so from my life, you put 3 people in front of me, one that's I don't like at work, or don't like at work, one that I don't get on with work, one that I do get on with work, and a family member. I will talk to all 3 of them completely and utterly differently. Now, that says to you that I've put so many defense mechanisms up that I will talk to the one that I don't like so much. I'm going to say don't like for the ease, or I don't get on with. That person there, I'll say very little, but enough to make them know that they've got no recourse against me. I've given you as much information. I will be as accurate to your question. I will be as attentive as literally minimal's needed to get you to fuck off. Then there'll be the person I do like, and I'll spend as much time with you as possible. I help you out as much as possible. Run for everything, do work for you, help you out. Then you've got a family member, close family member. Completely different to how I'll treat all them, because you might even actually we'll do 4. So shove along. Family members here now, and I'll go family member, love, affection, closeness, help you out, do everything, cuddles, whatever it may be, good times, but happy place. Then you bring the friend, you shuffle in, just move along. That's it. You come in. My friend's here now. Completely different person. It's going to that person there, that friend, is going to see something that none of those 3 will ever see. Because he'll see, if it's a very good friend, like I've got a best friend, I've been fucking friend, and I say it sounds childish when you say best friend, but it's true. You've got friends and you've got best friends. Everyone's in categories. All my friends, everybody has friendships in categories of people you'll talk to regularly, people you'll talk to not so regularly. Obviously, so there's categories of people, and this person, I've got a person I talk to every single fucking day, known 37 years. Now that person knows me, so that will see a completely different side to everything. Even if I brought in a reservist here, so move along, in comes a middle friend, somebody that I talk to reasonably well, doesn't know me fully, will see a partial side of me, but will never see the fucking true side of me. And out of all of those people, not every single one of them will ever see the real me. And I can hand on heart tell you that. Nobody will see the real me. And if you put all of those together, you could probably get a real picture. But it would take, I'd probably say, at least 10 people from different areas of my life to really get them to talk and go, I've never seen that side of James, I've never seen that. And paint a picture between 10 people from my life. So that's, talking to your parents, your sister, your brother, your mother, see a different person, your best friend, your normal friend, your mediocre friend, say work colleague, and not so good close work colleague. They'll all see someone completely different. It's insane how many masks you put on. And as a neurodivergent, that is intensified. That is intensified because we mask up every fucking time, every day anyway. You never really see the true person. If you were to walk around this place here, you would see a depiction of me. I'm a proper geek. I like making people happy. I love making things for people. I don't ask for anything. I give. I absolutely love it. That is a recipe for disaster, though. That's the problem, because that just adds to the bad memories, adds to the armor. And then ultimately what you end up doing through this process is, as people hurt you, as your armor gets on, your shoulders get heavier because you're holding more stress, more tension, because things are making you angry. So you're getting tension headaches, you're getting migraines. All of these things feed into how our body reacts to that stress. So that natural armor that you've got on now, fucking sat there, you're chainmailed up the fuck. But it's all well and good having that mental armor on, but the repercussions of stress are just astronomical. They really are. They just wear you down. And having to put a mask on to go up to that person there and talk to that person, you go, fucking yeah, you can have that mask. Oh, Christ, you're coming over, are you? Fuck. Well, you all right, mate? Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, no, well, fucking hell, my mate's there. Oh, fucking hell, there's another one. Oh, Christ. Oh, someone else. Christ, my dad's phoning. Oh, fucking hell. Another fucking mask on. Hey, Bigfoot, you know what I mean? You've got to bang masks on for everybody because you never really want to show your true self. And I couldn't, to be fair, to be honest, I couldn't show my true self in this job. I've said this before, said this in podcasts. I couldn't, because person me is effing blinding, have a fucking good time, but let's knuckle down. A completely different person. Not the right setting for me. My daughter actually sat down and she said to me, because James, because she started CBT therapy now, bless her. She's been diagnosed with ADHD, and or she's we're helping her with the diagnosis of it. So she's going to CBT therapy. We're not waiting for the NHS. We're going to help pay for it, because I want her to have a better life than I did mentally. So, it's really good and it's hereditary. So I knew one of them was going to get it. And unfortunately, I think I've got one daughter that's neurotypical, my first one. My second two second and third are neurodivergent, 100%. One's autistic, one's ADHD. And it's fucking hilarious. So I sit there and go, like, you got a little bit in there, you a little bit of me, not as one. One's mental, one's fucking direct and blunt and abrupt. You know what I mean? I'm sat there going, fucking, I've created a monster here. And I've got the first one who's happy as Larry. And I see to her, I go, why are you so fucking happy, Ellie? She's like, I love life. I love life. And, she's had the worst start. And she's fucking brilliant about it. I love that mentality. I'd love to have that mentality. I really would. But you build up so much defense mechanisms that it makes that hard. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, she's gone to CBT therapy. And she said, she talks about me quite a bit, because we are so alike, that she uses me, because obviously I'm very advanced in my neurodivergent stages. So I'm, and I don't hide it as much now. I've asked my family if I can just try and be myself around the family, and they've all accepted it, and they've all gone, yeah, we can. But, which actually makes it easier, because I don't get as stressed. I actually able to talk and say things as I want. I can be a wind-up merchant to all of them, and living in a house of fucking 4 women is mental anyway. But yeah, so I asked if I could be my normal self, and she gets a lot of the reality. So I come through. She says she's in the last 2 years she's seen nothing but me come through the door, fucking stressed and shutting down and not really engaging. And that's true, because I'm in a very stressful situation. It is quite a stressful job. I like it though, because mentally I like it, because it stimulates me, but I don't like the mental exhaustion. And she sees that, and she said, she says to me, James, Padre, or she don't know, James, because she calls me James because she knows it winds me up. Fucking bitch. She winds me up. I'm so fucking chronic. But she says to me, she goes, James, but why didn't you change your jobs? I was like, because it's a devil's advocate, it's devil's sword. I'm 45. I don't mind the job. It looks after me. It puts the food on the table, and it gives you the fucking freedom you get, because I'm helping you. So you've got a car out there because of the job I'm in. She goes, yeah, but you're not happy. And I go, if I'm honest, having kids, you sacrifice happiness to a degree. I'll be honest, that's the truth of it. Having kids are amazing, but there is a lot of negatives to having kids: financial, emotional, physical exhaustion. They just fucking wipe you out. And I said to her, you're 19 this year, and you're still as exhausting as you were the day you were born. If not worse, because you're actually financially exhausting now. Do you know what I mean? I'm helping you in a shit world full of taxes. I'm having to step in and help you. But she says, but are you ever going to get a job you want? I was like, well, yeah, I will eventually. But sorry, I was just checking my thing. I saw a warning sign up there, but I didn't know what the warning sign was for my fucking. I thought, shit, has it been recording me? And she says, but I just told my therapist she don't like the job, and she said, why don't you change? And I said, well, I don't know. She said, well, if I get an interior design, because she's doing really well at university or college, she's going to college. She's nearly passed college, and she's going to university. Hopefully up somewhere, Scotland, somewhere like that'd be nice. I've told her to go as far away as possible to get as much experience and give me a little mini break. And I said, she said, I'll start a business, and then you can work for me. I was like, yeah, all right, fucking bring it on. If you can do that, I'll come along all day long and bring my expertise and knowledge. That's going to take about 10 years. I'll probably be close to retirement, so I can help her in my retirement age. So, see, for me, I'm like winner, chicken dinner. But it's interesting how you think about these things, and how you're perceived, and the weight you carry when you bring that stress with you. Excuse me, that's lemonade in there. I thought it was water, but it's not, because maybe gassy. So it's the weight of that shoulder, the weight of that armor doesn't go away. So you have to be cautious about how much you bang on those barriers. But very much so, I think I've got a reason. I have got a reason why, and I've given you a snippet of some of the ones that stick to my mind, and I can't let go. And again, it's really weird, because a lot of people, mainly typical people will say to me, "We'll just let go," and I'm like, "You don't know how my brain works. I don't let go of things." It's almost like an avenge or a revenge or an avenge thing. I don't know why, because I would never act it out. But it's almost like I sit there and I go, right, you've hurt me physically or emotionally. I've now blocked you in my brain. And that's probably the easiest way to describe it, is I put a block up. And as I've said to you before in previous podcasts, I don't miss people. So I never ever think about them. I never miss people. And if I've got a natural armor up, I naturally will not respond to them. I won't even acknowledge their existence, which sounds fucking horrendous, and it is. But at the same time, to actively remember, you're actively trying to remember a negative thought constantly, because that's what I'm doing. So I'm every time I'm hurt, I'm constantly, I say I don't know their names. I know the names of every single person that's fucking hurt me. Every single fucking person. I know when they've hurt me. I know how they've hurt me, and I know what age I was. Simon Crew's one was, like I said, it was fourth period science, and I was in the second year at Stonehenge fucking school, and absolutely nowhere out of the blue, he came in and fucking spat in my face. Simon Crew's. And I know that. And I know all of those people because that negative thought is in my brain. So when someone hurts me or someone doesn't want to be a close ally to me, I naturally put a barrier up and go, okay, there's a reason why you don't want to like me. I don't know what that is, or I do know what it is, but I'm not sure how to make that better for you. I don't know what it is. So I'll put up a natural armor against it. But to continuously restore your memory and rethink it so it stays embedded in a long-term memory, that's exhausting. So you can imagine you go to work and you're talking about things, and I might be going for a walk, and then all of a sudden I'll something pop in my head, and I'll go, "You fucking ain't that person." And then, like now, it's opened up a flood of fucking negativity for me having this conversation in a good way, because it sat there anyway. But I've had the flood of negativity because they're people that have hurt me. So when I say I hate people, to go back to the start of this, when I say I hurt people, I hate people. I don't hate them. I've just been, oh shit, just knocked something over. What was that? Hold on a minute. What I mean by that is, I've been hurt a lot. So so it's easy for me to say out loud I hate people, because then people think, I suppose if people think I hate them, they won't come and try and say, well, let's be friends with that person. And if I open up to them naturally because I've let them in, then that's a different matter, because I've knocked my barrier down for you. But I try to be that person that not many people want to engage with. The downside is that's not me. So everybody fucking engages with me because I'm sat there going like, where were we the other day? We were on holiday, I think, last year in Benidorm. I was with my friends, and this guy just fucking out of nowhere just literally came up to me and started talking to me and like, where are you from? And all this. And I was with three other people. And I was like, why the fuck is he talking to me? And then my mate Kieran comes and goes, you've got that face, people just want to talk to you, mate. And I go, no, I don't want to talk to you. But the problem is, I do like talking to people. I like helping people. I like listening to people. But there's always a negative side. I think I've had so much negativity around people that it's made my defense horrible. It's made my defense heavy, and I'm sat there weighing down on life. I've got something quick. So something else to talk to you about quickly. I wrote this down, and I do you know what? I was breaking into that little bit. That was more of a kind of explanation onto some of the meaning behind what I say. So I say, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. In life, that's true. I don't care. That's not meant as towards anybody. The more, if you know the right people, you can certainly get a head start on a lot of the stepping stones in life. So it's important to nurture those right people. If those right people turn out to be fucking amazing people and you turn out to have a great friendship with them, well, that's an extra bonus. So you might find the right person, and that person over there is, it's him. He's a person I need to talk to. He's a fucking gaffer. And then it turns out he's a fucking amazing guy. And you're like, fuck, I like this guy. I can see a friendship with this guy. We're going to fucking rule the world. And that's where I think that the meaning becomes the meaning. There is some people that will go out their way to find the right person to succeed to, just purely for their own personal gain. And I would say about 80% of the people in life, neurotypicals, will do that. As a neurodivergent, I don't look at that. I look at people for friendships, and how can we conquer the world? How can you make my life better, and how can I make your life better? That's the fucking key thing I'm interested in. Anyway, so that was a little bit of there. spoke about that actually, because I said here one of the hardest things that I'm finding is really expressing what I mean and without sounding rude and arrogant, or direct. And I say things, especially on here. That was the note I wrote to myself, because again, it's true. I say things quite abruptly. Like I said to my sister, I text her. I didn't think it was a direct message. When I've read back on it, it is a bit direct, but it's not abrupt. It's straight to the point. And some people like straight to the point. I prefer straight to the point because I know where I fucking stand. It's when I don't know where I stand that I get worried, because I'm sat there going, "There's a hidden agenda here. You need to just be honest with me. I will help you." So, but it is true. It's true in life, and I think I find it even harder because I am a very factual person, and I rely on data, I rely on facts, and I rely on speaking the truth. As much as I can. Like, that's what I want, or that's what I need. So I can be quite direct in that sense, and that's kind of bit me in the ass sometimes. And I don't know how to get out of that. I think I'm just going to carry on. I'm 45. Here we go. This is what I wrote down. It's crazy. So I wrote this. So this was a snippet I saw, and I want to finish on this actually. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet tonight because I've got a lot to do for work tomorrow. It's crazy how we moan about how tough life is, which we do. A lot of us are moaning about how tough life is at the moment. We're all like, fucking hell, this, and this, and life's fucking tough, and I can't afford things. Yet they forget that only 20,000 years ago, only 20,000 years ago, it was a case of, I'm going to starve or freeze today. So if you, what I mean by that is, and this is more of a mental health. I took this from a mental health perspective. To try and offer a little bit of context to your life, I suppose, is they say we say life's hard, and don't get me wrong, in financial terms, I would say it's very hard, and it's really hard to get on the property ladder. It's really hard to save money, and the system isn't designing us now to save money. It's designing us to live by our means. That's to basically stop us saving, and that's to start us to get what we essentially need and not have the frivolous things. And that's probably because the world, if I was going to be someone that's going to put money on it, it's probably because I see artificial intelligence taking over a lot of our jobs. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be on universal credits. Elon Musk spoke about it a little while ago, that we're not far off AI running a lot of our administration processes and things like that. So we will lose a lot of people from work because there won't be skill sets for them required, because it can get done faster, quicker, and easier through an artificial intelligence. And so I think personally the hardships on finances, because they're just trying to put us into houses and everything will be run and paid for. We won't have savings anymore. The society will be run where you get this amount of money. Very much like I think the China system is what they use is very much like that. And if you commit crime, you just get money taken off of you. If you fucking walk across a zebra crossing where the light's not going, you get fined, and you get 3 strikes and you're out. You don't get something for that fucking month or something, whatever it'll be. So without going too deep, but I think that's probably the way it's going to go. But yes, it is hard. It is hard. I will say it is hard. When we're not having, certainly in my short life, 45 years, I've seen significant changes. Bearing in mind I was born in the 80s, raised through the 90s and worked through the 20s. So, from my perspective, I've seen a non-analog digital phase, a very analog phase, sorry, not digital. Everything played on cassette tapes and minimalistic everything, black and white TVs, right up to, a mobile phone that does absolutely fucking everything. And this ability to talk to you through a camera in my man cave. I've gone through all of the generations where I never had anything like that. I saw the introduction of the pager, the introduction of the mobile phone. I saw it, the introduction of the fucking computer. All of these things I saw the introduction of in my own small lifetime. And look how advanced we've got in 40 years, from nothing to 40 years where we're doing this, and artificial intelligence is pretty much writing most of our jobs. I think now, the whole HR process is all administration, artificial intelligence. So it is difficult. Yes, went on a little digression there. But what I will say is we also need to remember where we've come from. We've come from a place only 20,000 years ago where, it was you were either going to eat, you were going to fight or freeze. Do you know what I mean? They were the two options you had. We were barbaric, and we've gone through years and years of all those barbaric phases, the Vikings and Romans and all these other fucking people, world wars. We've gone through all of this. So, yes, it is fucking difficult. But at the same time, we've got medicine on tap. We do have a financial system that supports us when we can't work. We do have doctors, dentists. We do have convenience of shops around the corner. We have good school systems. Yes, they could be questionable at times, but they're better than, again, what we had. So everything takes evolution. Everything takes time, investment, and money. And, that is the thing that we often forget. We all want it to happen now. Did my parents have a better life? I would say yes. I would say they were certainly able to work one job, raise a family of 5, and still afford a house, and still afford to go on holiday twice a year. I can barely do that, and I'm probably classed as the middle class, if you like. So in terms of my earnings, so I can see how hard it is for the classes. It's not easy, but at the same time, we have better health. We have cancer treatments, on tap that we, that are there for us. Cancer treatments being cured, Alzheimer's is being cured, Parkinson's is looking at curing Parkinson's or making it better. There's all these things coming through the door, medicine that they didn't have. There was a case of, you're talking Victorian times when, they were fucking falling to bits. There was what was it, King Edward? Was it King Edward? I think he was, that you could smell his fucking rotting flesh from like down the fucking corridor of a fucking castle, because they didn't have any medicine. Here we are now, we've got it on tap. A&E, bosh, get there, get sorted. You don't have that. So yes, it's hard financially, it's hard emotionally, and I think that we do take on a lot more stress than we've ever done. I think that even just job fronts are different compared to what they used to be. We're all basically walking computers, but we're not designed to be walking computers. So in a mental health perspective, I suppose the easiest thing for me to say is we're evolving. Evolution does take hard times, and we're learning, and we're all learning as human beings. As long as you can be the best version of yourself, I think that's where you need to start. I had a friend who contacted me the other day, and they were saying to me, cousin's coming over, lost his dad when he was born, been raised by his mum, suspected ADHD, 21-year-old boy. I said, okay, so let me just start there. I said, let me start from the beginning. 21-year-old boy, no dad upbringing, living with his mum, been smoking weed pretty much 24/7 since he was 13, no stability. And I was like, right, okay, and why do you think he's got ADHD? Oh, because he won't sit still. Do you not think that a 21-year-old, 21 peak adult of a male, you're not peak, the start of, not peak, peak's about 35. You're talking to an adult of 21 years old that has had no father upbringing, doesn't have a job, has been smoking weed, has testosterone running through him, has emotions and hormones running through him because he's still changing at 21, and never had a job, not got no structure, no focus, no fucking bedtime, no fucking nothing, no routine. He's got nothing. And you suspect because he won't sit still, he's got ADHD. And I think that's the problem with the world. No, he's not. Get the fucking fundamentals starts. Get the fundamentals sorted first. And for me, I was like, well, straight away, get him to CBD therapy. Get that drawn out of him. And then see when he calms down the other areas, if his hyperactivity is still there, then go down the route of getting diagnosed. I'm not taking the credibility. I'm not taking the validity. Is that the word? Validity. That's the one. I got it. I'm not taking the validity. I say it now. Away from his diagnosis or need for a diagnosis. Not diagnosed. He hasn't been diagnosed. I said, but at the same time, what you need to do is get him off the weed, get him into a job, get him into a hobby. Find something that he can use his energy on. Something he can use is get himself built up with, get him into a stable structure, and then see how his persona is there, see how his mentality is. He's never been in a job to be able to tell if he can hold down a job because he's never worked. He's 21. What's he been doing for fucking 5 years? 16 was a legal age. So I ask all these questions, and straight away it's like, actually, yeah, I never really thought about that. So easy to go down the diagnosis route of getting him diagnosed, but not looking at the fundamental basics of his upbringing. And I say to myself, That is the problem with society. Himself, CBT therapy is fucking invaluable for everybody. I think we all, I mean, not to the point of the Americans. The Americans, you do a good job of therapy, but I think you do it a bit too OTT. I think you're a bit over the top with it. But I do think we get it wrong. We don't have enough of it because we are in a stressful world. We are in a stressful scenario. We have stress bringing kids up, stress trying to survive. I mean, the stresses that me and my wife have. We've got raised three girls, looking after three dogs. We're paying a mortgage on a house, all the bills that are coming through with like council tax 5% increase this month, and you sat there going, well, I didn't account for a 5% increase. Do you know what I mean? That's fucking ridiculous. But you have to have that stress, the stress of going to work, the stress of trying to perform, the stress of trying to get promoted to get more money to be able to survive this side of your hand. The car's running, the fucking insurance is due, the fucking MOT's due, the tyres are worn. Then you've got the problem with my three daughters, and two of them are driving, and their cars are sorted. So these stresses are like continuous. You sort of sat there going, they don't relent. The stress does not relent. So that's where you've got to look at life and go, fucking hell, I need to take a break. And that's where we do need to take ourselves out. So, that's ultimately what I've done this week. Is shut down, completely shut my laptop down and go, fucking, that's it, I'm done. Just to reset, get a full recharge in, get yourself up to here, get yourself fully recharged, eating healthy, running again, getting out there, getting the endorphins going, getting all these things, getting all the, sweating all the shit out and getting yourself built up again. That is what it's about. So, yes, it is a hard time. But at the same time, remember where we've come from as a human race, and also remember what part we have to play. And I always say, start with a bit of CBT therapy. Start with a little bit of therapy for yourself. Give yourself a bit of that. Therapy might be anything. That therapy might be right down to, I can just about survive, and my focus is getting out of bed today. Well, if your focus is getting out of bed, make sure you get out of bed. Give yourself a goal to get out of bed. If your goal is to go to work, and go to work, you might go to. There was a friend of mine that had recently come to work, and she'd just lost her dad. Absolutely heartbreaking. Out of the blue, went up there, spent some time with him, lost his dad. I didn't expect it. She come down and she'd had I think the best part of 2 months off, and then she come back to work and she didn't feel like it. And when she came in and she was opening up to me and saying, James, I've had finding this problem and I'm finding this hard, because I was listening. I love listening, and I was like, do you know what? You've put all those negatives and all those hardships and the way you're feeling at the front there, and thank you for sharing. I feel valued you've been able to share with me, but I'm going to put it into context. And you've turned up to work today. You look absolutely stunning. You've made the effort to come in, and you're talking to me, and you've said hello to all of those people since you've come along. So well done. You've done more than some people can do. You've got out of bed, you've got yourself dressed, you've come in, you've put your mask on, and you're performing in work. Brilliant. Well done to you, because that's a milestone for most people. I remember being fucking crippled. I remember being led in bed some days, and I just didn't want to. I couldn't even get the fucking energy to pull the cover up. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. And I remember when I used to live on my own, and I was in this little annex area, and I just remember lying in bed, and I didn't get out of bed for 4 days because I was that depressed. I led in bed. I went home on the Thursday night, and I just led in bed. Like, I didn't move. The only time I moved was to sip a bit of water and go for a piss. But I didn't leave. For 4 days. And I looked like shit. I looked like I was gaunt. I came out on the Tuesday to go to work, to try and go to work. And my neighbor, it's not my neighbor, the owner, neighbor to where I was, the owner of the house, because I was in the annex, came out and went, fuck, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm all right. I think so. You look like fucking hell. like blunt as fuck. I remember it's today, and I was like, yeah, I'm struggling. I'm struggling really badly. In my head, that's what I said. And I went, no, I'm fine. I went back to work and carried on. So I said to my colleague that came into work the other week, and I said, well, just by coming in and making an effort, you've made an effort. You look fantastic. You come into work, you're smashing it out. I said, even if you go home in an hour, you've done more than what most people do. So when they're feeling depressed. So what an achievement. want to take the small wins. And she looked at her and she went, "Thank you so much." And then she literally came in the next day and went, she saw me at the end of the day. She said, "Are you coming in tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah," because I'll come in. We can talk, and we'll catch up again. And I did. Came in the next day. We had a great chat, and she's been in every day since. And do you know what? It's. I always say it's how you treat people is a real key part there. And for me, it's important to acknowledge that she was in a horrible place, but I didn't want to make that worse. I just said, "Well, you're here. If you go home in an hour, doesn't matter. Doesn't make any difference. No one's going to fucking die. No, nothing's going to change. But you're here. You've done what you need to do to mentally prepare yourself, and you've come in and you've done it. So if you go home today, take that reward with you. Did the full day, came in the next day, and has smashed it every day since. Why? Because of the people around her. People around her have helped her. The kind words is so important. Because like I said, there's days where you sit there and you're like, I can't even be fucking asked. I don't want to face this day. I know I'll probably fucking do it in the morning. I've had a week off. I'm like, bollocks to this. So yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna leave on that positive note there. I think. Love talking to you. Hopefully, giving you some context to what I mean. I like I said, I've done a few TikTok videos that go along with this, and often the feedback comes back with, the dog one was quite interesting actually, because the dog one was very positive. Everyone was like, "Yeah, I love dogs too," and some people got what I meant in the context, and some people didn't. Obviously, we're all different. But it's true. Dogs are invaluable. So they're fucking. We don't deserve them, to be honest. But it's putting a context behind things, because it's very. I think I have to explain myself, especially as you're on the platform. And you sat there and people go, "Oh, you fucking hell, what do you mean by that, you wanker?" And then you instantly sat there going, I didn't mean it that way. Fuck. And you got to explain yourself. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for listening to me. Take care, everybody. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.